Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a great day. Today, I wanted to put together a unique piece of content going over how the acceleration compares between a brand new 992 Porsche GT3 RS and a standard Porsche GT3. There's nothing really standard about a GT3, however, I'm only calling it that because it is the entry-level model of the GT3 lineup, which means it's obviously a good point of discussion because you want to know whether or not all the extra drag on the track focus variant is going to be hindering the acceleration or slowing it down by any margin. And you can also be arguing that it should be much faster accelerating because you have the DRS, the drag reduction technology, with an extra 16 horsepower. Standard, the GT3 comes with 502 horsepower, and then the 3RS comes with 518 horsepower. It still has the flat 6, however, of course, they have a few upgrades baked in to increase power output just a little bit. Now, I'm very shocked looking at this data that I've compiled during my time testing both the GT3 and the GT3 RS. Let me remind you, these conditions are all on the same day, roughly a couple of hours apart, and both these vehicles are riding on the same exact tires, specifically Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s, not the Rs. The Michelin Cup 2 Rs will be even faster for the racetrack because they're even stickier on the outside edge. I'm really glad that I got to test these two vehicles on the same compound because it helps to even the playing field so I can truly understand behind the wheel how the driving dynamics change between both models. Specifically, the fall-off ratio for these tires are going to be pretty equal because one doesn't have an extremely higher threshold of grip. Put it this way, during a launch control scenario, these should be very equal. So now I'm going to play you guys my first launch with both vehicles side by side, and then we're going to analyze what exactly is going on. So as you can see here, both vehicles are revving up to right around the same RPM, close to red line. I noticed that both of them had a slight bog initially during that launch control sequence with the PDK. It could be tire slip, to be honest with you. I did notice a traction control light turn on briefly. I would say the GT3 RS towards the end of the runway, I'll call it, was about 2 to 3 miles an hour faster. It wasn't night and day, and I'm very shocked. I believe that this could possibly mean on the racetrack a standard GT3 in the non-maximum downforce setting would be neck and neck with the GT3 RS in DRS mode, going down a fast straightaway. To make it clear, I'm only talking about the range of 0 to 120 miles an hour. I wasn't able to go any faster than that because there wasn't enough space to continue going. Oh, by the way, both cars are in the same setting of track mode. There is one other discrepancy. The GT3 RS that I'm driving is at 33 PSI for the tires out back. Then the GT3 has a higher PSI for the rear tires. The higher the PSI or the pressure, the harder the rubber will be on the ground. It won't be as soft to flex. It doesn't flex too much, to be honest with you, for having a track tire because the sidewall stiffness is usually so high. You will find majority of tire flex with a Mickey Thompson or any drag radial because it's meant to compress and expand that contact patch of the rubber on the ground, because usually this is your tire, right? It's a box, and then when it compresses for a drag racer, it kind of goes like this and it stretches out the contact patch on the ground. So you have much more rubber pushing all that weight and horsepower and torque down the road. Anyways, you don't want that for the track. I would say still the GT3 RS is in the advantage here because 32, 33 PSI hot, that's where you want to be for the optimum grip for these tires. One of the big difference I want to point out is that accelerating between both vehicles, in the standard GT3, it is not in maximum downforce mode. This is in the standard fixed aero setting. You can adjust it with the rear spoiler, increase the amount of downforce you're getting for the corners. At the same time, that will increase the drag. All that extra drag would slow you down. So thankfully, from what I understand, talking to the team here, this was not in the higher downforce setting. With that being said, I did have to hit the DRS button inside the GT3 RS, meaning when I launch, there's a button on the steering wheel that I hit with my thumb, and then it'll open up all the flaps. By opening up all the flaps, it won't keep us in the maximum downforce setting. Going down this acceleration runway, it was able to accelerate in the fastest way possible. All other conditions were roughly the same. Pretty interesting results. I have much more to share, more launch control tests, so let's continue on to that. Real quickly though, if you're enjoying the video, please hit the like button. It really has helped me out, and subscribe for much more great content coming out your way. While you do that, hit the drop down and click all to get all the notifications here on the channel. I really appreciate it. For more content like this, make sure to do it. And if you want to see how these two compare on a road course, please click on the top of the screen right now, because I've attached my comparison of driving both these vehicles back to back, featuring standalone laps and then a side-by-side to give you a cornering speed example, how they stack up. Okay, here we go. This is another launch control test. For this scenario, I am on two different surfaces. One is going directly backwards, and the other one was in the initial same spot as the first clip you saw. Let's hit play and see which one hits 100 miles an hour fastest.
3, 2, 1, go.
Again, it seemed like the GT3 RS was able to maintain 2 to 3 miles an hour. I made sure to line everything up with time code to make sure that it was on the same milliseconds roughly for when I let off on the brakes. It is as even as I can get it for video work. I'm really excited to give you guys this information because in a real world environment, it's shocking how close they can really be going straight. It makes sense. One has 16 more horsepower than the other and more downforce. If you consider the variables here, the GT3 RS is right here. It's at 518 horsepower. The GT3 is right here, a little bit below it with horsepower, 502 horsepower. With the extra drag, instead of being up here with speed compared to GT3, would go down a little bit. So then they would be very equal. I have one last side-by-side I want to show you, and let me give a disclaimer right away. I realize I did not fully stop with the standard GT3 in the moment I should have. However, you can see roughly what it looks like inside both models for a threshold brake to drop from 100 miles an hour down low to almost a dead stop. I stop all the way in the RS. Again, I don't stop all the way in the standard GT3. Check this out.
Threshold right there. You can feel when the ABS kicks in.
I felt the G's on my face.
You don't want to, stay in the ABS.
Oh my gosh.
I felt nice.
In this car, it is way better than the other car.
In my opinion, I just felt the braking system was more responsive, and the GT3 RS had a better feedback with the pedal, and the force felt even greater. I am so impressed with both these vehicles. The GT3 is such a fast track car. I really don't think a good majority of people will get to its limits on the track. Then when you throw in the RS, come on, you gotta have some experience under your belt to be able to use all the extra performance. These cars are such high performing vehicles that you really can't go wrong. However, if you are enthusiastic about getting to the track and getting the fastest vehicle possible, of course, the upgraded version, the RS, is going to be faster. I personally can't wait to find out how other variants stack up. Please let me know your thoughts. If you had the money, which one would you buy, a GT3 or the RS? I'm not saying you don't have the money, by the way. If you're in the market and you're gonna buy a Porsche, which one would it be? Or would you consider a totally different one in the 911 lineup, like the Turbo S or the Dakar? Here's what I want you to walk away with after watching this video. DRS can help make a vehicle with double the amount of downforce or something else be more equal to it. You can get all of the upgraded performance for the racetrack and still be just as fast in the straight line. It's the best of both worlds. It really is. If you go to traditional era with fixed wings, well, that GT3 RS would need a lot more horsepower to be able to be as fast as it was in this test. However, it doesn't need that. It just needed 16 more horsepower to still be neck and neck with the lower downforce variant. It's incredible when you really think of it, and it opens so many doors. This is why you see hypercars with active aero. It's unfortunate that the regulations in motorsports, the vast amount of motorsports, they don't allow DRS technology, because if they did, it would change the game for sure. However, getting into DRS technology equipped vehicles, you have to rewire your brain because you don't have all that traditional static downforce all the time, which means you have to understand if you get into a corner and you've released all the drag, it will make the vehicle not handle as predictably all the time. If you understand how to use the active aerodynamics in the vehicle, it is a double net positive. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to hit the like button. It really does help me out. And subscribe for much more great content coming out your way. I'll see all of you in the next episode.